Three. Hey guys, it's Javi, and thank you for jumping on another episode of Prompt to Product with FormWise. My name's Javi, co-founder here at FormWise. I have an awesome guest today, Cindy. And Cindy, could you pronounce your last name? I don't want to botch it. People always botch my last name.
Yeah, no
Cindy
worries. Molchany.
Molchany. Awesome, awesome. It reminds me almost of like Hawaii for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I happen to be in Hawaii, but my it's my husband's last name, and he's of Czechoslovakian descent, so very
Awesome.
far away from Hawaii. Yeah.
I I think it's because it reminds me of like Molokai or whatever out
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah,
That's why every
yeah,
time I see it, but thank you for giving us some of your time.
yeah.
I know, I've seen you around in the community. I've kind of sort of been in a way peeking over the fence at what you've been working on. I know you do a lot of stuff in the vibe coaching and
Mhm.
like the vibe coding specifically. Um, I would love to share your knowledge and your expertise to our community and I just want to know how you help people and I know you're one of the sort of first movers in that space.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, if you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then
Sure.
we can jump into some of the cool stuff
Okay.
we.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I have a business called Perfect Little Business, and historically, I have been an agency, so not a go
Yeah.
high level agency or anything like that. But I actually have worked in this space for
Right.
over a decade,
Hmm.
creating curriculum and courses and coaching programs for 8 and 9 figure clients. So
Oh
big
wow.
players in the space. They
Right.
come to me when they want their curriculum design. They want to know how to make the biggest impact, get people the fastest results. So that's kind of been my background is in the program creation side.
Hmm.
And yeah, so when ChatGPT came out, what was that,
Right.
November of 2022? I feel so like late, but I guess I wasn't. It took me a couple months to kind of see the light and see like what it was doing. But as soon
Right.
as I started playing around with AI, I was like, oh man, this is a game changer
Oh,
for
absolutely.
delivery. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
very early on, I started kind of incorporating AI into my clients' businesses in
Hmm.
terms of, taking their existing IP and putting tools behind it and getting their with the sole purpose to get their clients faster, more profound results. And
Right.
so that's what I've been doing for pretty much like what is that, 3 years now, 2.5 years, is really kind of seeing where we could go with AI in
Right.
client delivery and yeah, and I have my own kind of like spawn my own program
Hmm.
coaching other clients and really just trying to see where this like I mean, it's all navigation, right? We're all
Right.
just trying to see like what the future is going to entail.
Right.
And it's led me down the path to really like honing in on vibe coding and
Right.
something I call vibe coaching.
Vibe
And
coaching. Yeah.
yeah, and really focusing on how are we going to like survive this AI
Right. Right.
era,
Right.
right? How do we
Yeah.
stay relevant? How do we keep our businesses? How do we keep our clients engaged? How do we sell our programs? So the whole kit and caboodle, I
Hmm.
now am kind of into and trying to hack and figure out and having
Oh,
fun.
man. Well, I'm really excited to learn more about the AI demand system specifically.
Sure.
One thing, yeah, and I'm totally with you. I remember when ChatGPT came out, I was a little skeptical, and then I jumped in and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a real deal. This is I knew immediately this is going to be a big deal. And
Yeah.
that's where I started getting the idea of like, okay, there has to be a way to productize these prompts somehow, right? Because
Yeah.
we can't just send clients straight to ChatGPT. And I imagine you in the curriculum building sort of space at the time, you saw it as an opportunity to sort of help you build curriculums faster, maybe more in depth at scale. And now, of course, there's so many other ways that coaches can use AI from generating leads to productizing that knowledge. So yeah, I mean, I really want to hear more about the AI demand system. So yeah,
Okay.
maybe if you had explained the AI demand system to say a really smart 12-year-old, how
Yeah.
so what yeah, describe it to me and I'm almost asking it for myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then of course, what problems does it solve?
Yeah, so like I said, my agency, I work with clients. That's kind of like my bread and butter. And
Hmm.
then I am my own avatar for my business, right? So
Right,
the AI demand engine came from wanting to solve my own problem,
right,
which is that I have never been consistent on social media. Back in the day when I first started my first business, SEO
Hmm.
was the rage, and I took advantage of it. And I had
Right.
a successful business. I was able to sell it. So
Oh,
SEO was
wow.
kind of like my sweet spot. And then
Yeah.
Facebook ads came on the scene, and
Right.
that worked for like 5 minutes, and then it didn't. And
Yeah.
then, then the whole like for the last couple of years is like go viral, become an influencer, and that's just not where I play. Like that's
Right.
just not what I want to do with my
Right.
time. So I mean, I know that it's part of the system and what we have to do, but it's not where I want to spend my whole time. So I felt
Right.
like I became like this full-time person to go create reels, and I was like, that's
Hmm.
just not going to work. So that was one of my first problems, right, with
Right.
regards to solving. And then I just was recognizing that there's all these eras. There's
Right.
all like, there was the SEO era, and then there was a Facebook ads era, and then
Yep.
there's a go viral era, and now we're in the AI recommendation era.
Yeah.
So we have to like totally have a little bit of a mindset shift in like how we're actually going to do this, right? So what does that mean to be recommended by AI? So that's
Right.
number one.
Yeah.
And the second problem that I've started to recognize for myself is like, okay, I know I have tons to say. I
Right.
have lots of points of view. I have lots of skills that I can transfer to other people. So if I'm like kind of this person that's not really necessarily wanting to be on social media doing the jazz hands, but I really do want to contribute to conversations and help, like how can I do that efficiently and sustainably and get people to hopefully help people and pay attention and grow my business as a result.
Mm.
And so that was the second problem. And then the third problem is like, okay, we're also in this era where, trust is just like has left the building. Like there's no trust
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And coupled with that, people want fast, easy, and exciting results,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Um, one of my clients used to be like an old client of mine is a huge copywriter in the space, and so he
Hmm.
would always just hammer on fast, easy, and exciting results. So I've always had that in the back of my head.
Yep.
That's what people want. And so when that's one of the things that I noticed about AI early on is like, oh my gosh, this can get us fast, easy, and exciting results
Hmm.
like way faster. So
Yep.
so then, those three things kind of all started to kind of percolate for me in the last year. And it's like, okay, how do I really take this to the next level and change what we're doing as online business industry, coaches,
Right.
consultants, service providers, and actually like create something sustainable that
Right.
doesn't burn us out and all that stuff. So
Yep.
essentially what I created is the AI demand system, which
Hmm.
is one, digital hygiene. So we got to get
Yep.
our foundations totally like buttoned up.
Yeah.
It's not SEO, it's more like generative engine optimization
Yeah.
and AEO, answer engine optimization,
Yeah.
borrowing from a lot of the SEO stuff, but it's getting your foundation, your website completely in alignment with what the AI engines want.
Yeah.
When I started back in 2014, the business I started was actually a job board. So I was
Mm.
like old school directory. Like I
Yeah.
love directories, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then SEO kind of started to go downhill. And so
Hmm.
directories kind of faded out. Well, directories are having a heyday. And the reason why is because AI sees them as a structured
Yeah.
resource. And
Yes.
so directories, people that are building directories are just like, they're in
Oh,
boom
that's
town.
so interesting. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, directories are back. That's awesome. So what I'm doing with my clients is helping them we're turning our websites into effectively directories, structured data that AI likes.
FAQs would FAQs be something of that?
FAQs, schema markup is important.
Yeah.
So there's a technical side of it. Query-based posts. So
Hmm.
I talk to my clients all the time. I'm like, I don't really care if a human reads your blog,
Right.
but we're going to publish a
Yeah.
ton of articles,
That's
and
actually interesting. Yeah.
going to be they're all going to be query-based. So we're going to just anticipate and get to the brass tacks of what your ideal clients are asking AI, those internal questions that they go to their chatbot and say, here's what I need to do. So we're going to figure out what those questions are as much as we can, and then we're going to answer them in a structured way. And
Hmm.
you might end up with 100 blog posts answering
Right.
different questions. Go ahead.
So yeah, no, no, and I
Yeah.
got a question there. That's really, and I'm actually learning a ton here.
Yeah.
So we see on the search engines right now, if you go to Google, you get an AI summary. Is that at all related to I think you said the GEO, the
So yeah, I mean, so AI, from my understanding, and I'm definitely
Mhm.
not like an expert on analytics,
Right.
but you might have noticed that in the last year, your direct traffic has
Yep.
gone up. Like
Yes.
you're just like, where are all these people just putting my URL in,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
That's most likely because, and I don't know exactly the thread, but that's most likely as a result of AI.
I 100% agree with that because I actually bought
Yep.
my truck using ChatGPT. I had it find all the like exact truck I wanted in all the
Mhm.
dealerships. Then I had it go find like the best interest rate around, and I went to a credit union and I got it. Um, and I know for a fact because we do Google Analytics, whenever you get sort of cited and recommended by
Mhm.
AI, it'll show that it came from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
ChatGPT passes that information. So if you have the analytics set up, I'm assuming you
Yeah.
could measure that as well.
You can see those instances, but there's also a lot of different ways that AI might recommend you, right? There's
Hmm.
Google Answers, there's Perplexity.
Oh, yep, yep,
And
yep.
a lot of time, if you think about user behavior too, like you might show up in Google Answers in the sidebar where it's like, okay, according to perfectlittlebusiness.com or according to
Yeah.
FormWise, this is the da 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 da. And someone might like go, okay, and they might like index that somewhere up here.
Hmm.
And what do they do next, right? They might not click through because our clicks to our website are going down.
Right.
So I can only anticipate that user behavior is that they might come over and see that my profile is active on Facebook or Instagram,
Oh.
or
Mm.
they'll remember it and go directly to my website or do something. They'll creep around to vet you out before they actually come into your world.
So it's almost like you're building like an omnipresence online for this shift. You're like, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're reframing it because, and it's a really exciting time. And I love
Yeah.
what you're doing because I would say 99% of businesses are not at all thinking of this.
No.
Like
No.
we still have an agency in the background,
Hmm.
and we do local SEO and stuff. Um, and
Oh,
what we try to do is we try to do the basic on-page SEO and
right.
AI has not been like a huge thing for us. But
Yeah.
I know for a fact most small businesses, coaches specifically, if you're like a niche expert, like if you're a coach that solves a very specific problem.
Hmm.
Of course, there's so many ways you can use AI from building the curriculums, turning your
Yeah.
expertise into an AI asset. But discoverability, I think, is like the core theme here, right? Like
Yeah.
being discoverable.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I mean, I have a client, I mean, in addition to everything else, I do actually work with local businesses too, like
Mhm.
in my, because there's really not very many of us here on the island. And I have a realtor client, and we're doing exactly that. And it's really interesting with local businesses because you have such an opportunity because like think about you're selling a condo, right? An HO like a realtor is selling a condo
Yeah.
or they want to sell condos.
Hmm.
And there might be like here we have resort areas in
Right.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's going to be tons of different like pockets where there's different amenities at HOAs,
Right.
right? It's different amenities, different HOA
Yeah.
fees. So you could write content like what is the average HOA for the Mauna Kea resort area?
Hmm.
What is the, and then a different post would answer a different question that's specific to, Maunalani or
Yeah.
Waikoloa. So you can like
Yeah.
do the same content, but repeat it. And so that's the directory aspect of like, you just kind of compound and answer the same questions, but you're answering it in different contexts because someone might be looking for Maunalani versus Waikoloa.
So what you're saying is you help them like say I'm a business on Big Island and I
Mhm.
do tours for
Right.
I actually had my honeymoon on Big Island.
Oh,
So
nice.
say you do tours in the Pahoa area, right? You go see the Black Sand Beach and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I approach you, and what you're going to do is you're going to help take what my business already does, and you just for somebody that's building a itinerary using ChatGPT, you
Yeah.
help my tour business get discovered and perhaps
Sure. Yeah.
recommended in that itinerary. That because if I travel, I promise I'm going to be using ChatGPT to build my
Oh,
itinerary.
totally.
I'm going to
Yeah.
tell, hey, I don't want to go to these places. Find me the most
Yeah.
affordable XYZ. Find me the best deals, the best time to go. If you don't have
Mhm.
that information, which I don't even know how I would structure that, but your system, you have a
Yeah.
framework for helping
Mhm.
people do that, right?
Yeah. And I mean, what's interesting is like, and I should have mentioned this earlier, we're at this really interesting time.
Yeah,
Like the playing field has been completely leveled.
yeah,
So whether you are, and I actually tell my clients because my private coaching clients,
yeah,
not my agency clients,
yeah,
a lot of them are early stage. And so
Right.
there's like a lot of like, um, fear and what's the word? I feel like I'm an imposter, right? Because they're just so
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
feel like they're so behind and they're not. And it
No.
actually right
No.
now,
Yeah.
everything has been democratized with
Correct.
regards to being recommended by AI because I can
Yep.
guarantee you, and I can give you examples. I need to be cautious of privacy, but
Right.
like,
Yeah.
um, like a company that has 1,000 blog posts that they've
Right.
been building and working on getting good SEO on that content for
Yep.
5 years, they've got a heck of a lot like bigger hill to climb in
Yep.
terms of optimizing that and editing that to make it now
Yep.
answer engine optimized or GEO optimized.
Geo. Yep.
Right. Either those are two different things, but similar.
Mhm.
They've got more work to do than someone who's just starting out that can just like hit fresh and start go. Right. But everything is because no one's business is structured to be
Yeah.
recommended by AI. We all have to change how our hygiene is online.
That is so fascinating. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I think for like niche experts, coaches who solve a very specific problem, because I mean,
Mhm.
nowadays almost everybody calls themselves a coach. And
Mhm.
I can almost go to ChatGPT and build like a framework. But
Sure.
I think the people who truly have, like you said, the blog posts, case studies, they have a actual proven framework. They're a niche expert, a authority in their space.
Mhm.
They have all the ingredients. It just needs to
Yeah.
be, as you said, optimized for discoverability. There might be somebody right now on ChatGPT searching for that coach's exact
Exactly.
problem-solving skills, right?
Yeah.
And it's so important because honestly, it's not very useful to go to Google and search for a
Mhm.
coach. I don't think anybody
No.
does that. Maybe somebody does that if you're super niched.
Yeah.
But in general, people treat their whether it's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and Gemini, they sort of treat it almost like as at least again, we're in the early stages. This is
Yeah.
absolutely where the future is going. In the future, I think, yeah, people are going to have like their little co-pilot that
Totally. I mean,
knows.
I'll get the first time I was recommended by like I got a book call on my website and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Because usually, it's like
Yeah,
someone sent you a DM or you kind of have
yeah,
a little bit of a sense of where this person's coming from. This was like out of the blue. Get on the phone. I'm like, hi, like, who are
yeah,
you and how can I help you? And
yeah,
this guy, he's like, he was so proud to tell me that ChatGPT recommended me.
yeah.
And I was like, really? I was like, it did what? And he's like, yeah, I went and I used to coach for Taki Moore in Black Belt, if any of you are familiar with that. But so he asked ChatGPT, who's another coach like Taki Moore? And my name came up. And I was like,
Wow.
that's
That is
awesome. Like,
that is awesome. Yeah, that
yeah,
is
I was like, that was like the spark. That was the spark of digital hygiene. That's when I was like, okay, that just gave me a huge dopamine hit. How do I get more of that?
it.
So
Yeah, and basically now you've built like a program so other coaches
yeah.
can replicate those results, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And I'll talk about digital assets in a second. But I mean, it is a system that like once you have, it's like step by step. And it's kind of boring because it's kind of like SEO. Like you just have to do the work and you have to do a lot of it a little bit. But it's a project. It's finite. There is some revisiting it on a regular basis just to make sure because
Right,
AI likes refreshed or up to date information.
right.
But it's just like this project, and it's not very sexy and it's not
Yeah.
very exciting, but it works.
Yep.
And I think that people that are like me who don't want to be jazz hands but still want to grow their business are finding it really exciting. And my agency clients are also finding it really exciting. So yeah, but it's the same system throughout. Whoever, it's the same.
So what
So
is
that's
oh, so sorry. No,
oh
no, no.
wait,
So what is like mind-blowing to me is you like, and I really want to get into like the tools and stuff and
yeah.
like the things within your program, but just to show people that are watching this episode, um, Cindy took her methodology, okay,
Hmm.
of how she implements these results. And we'll talk about the tools inside here in just a minute, like all the web apps that you've built.
Yep.
She took her expertise, her methodology, and she turned it into a business. And or you already had your business, but you turned it into a offer within your value ladder.
Hmm.
And that's what I want all, like, I guess, because we have hundreds of coaches that use FormWise and coaches of all niches, life coaches, marriage coaches, coaches. I mean, even people in the marketing space that only serve a specific industry. Like one that I always bring up is we have an agency that serves tow trucking companies. That's like their niche. They don't serve anybody else. And
Mhm.
they build tools specifically for the tow trucking companies, also for SEO, also for to like write the like notes about the accident and stuff, and
Mhm.
tools that sort of help, like nobody else is going to really invest the time to build AI assets around that methodology, around that niche. So like I said, it's a very interesting time for anybody. It's almost like you can't be niche enough.
Yeah.
There's such
Yeah.
opportunity. And of course, there's, I forgot how many people on the planet, 8 billion. I don't know how many people are on the internet, but there's more and more every day. People are going to be searching for your results. And that's why like something like the AI demand system is so important because
Yeah.
you have to have your stuff optimized for
Mhm.
discoverability.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, tell me about like, I guess we can start with version one, or I don't know how many versions you
Sure.
have, but like
So
yeah.
yeah, so the hygiene is just like actually one part of the cog of the wheel.
Yeah.
Probably, it's foundational. I just
Hmm.
want to touch upon the other and then probably touch upon the second and we'll drill into the
Yeah.
third because I think you'll
Yeah.
find that fascinating.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier omnipresence, right?
Yeah.
Like when someone is like so ideal situation, you're recommended by AI, whether it's in Google Answers, it's ChatGPT, Perplexity, or whatever. And then someone's like, oh, okay, that was interesting. That was insightful. That answered my question. A little bit of like awareness. They might go creep your profile. They might follow you. They might
Hmm.
opt in for an email address.
Yeah.
But what we need to establish, and this is like a little bit of my flag in the ground,
Yeah.
but like funnels
Yeah.
are done from
Yeah.
in many ways. And so
Hmm.
what is the behavior of people online if funnels are not as effective anymore? And I don't want to say like lead magnet funnels aren't effective. Those are just like two-step, right? It's
Yeah.
super easy. But those complicated like architected experiences, that's
Hmm.
when we were asking people to buy on our terms,
Yeah.
right? 5 years
Yeah.
ago, whatever. People
Yeah.
don't do that anymore
Yeah.
because the trust is so low. They buy on
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah.
So what is working is what I call digital gravity. So digital gravity is creating a bit of a moat around
Yeah.
your thought leadership, for lack of a
Yeah.
better word.
Yeah.
So the second part of the cog is like, okay, if people are becoming aware of who we are, how do we actually pull them to us?
Hmm.
And it's by sharing our thought leadership. But like I said, constant, like having to perform or put out Hormozy level amounts of content
Yeah.
for the average person is like pretty much impossible, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people have their own content systems. It's not anything new, but this is a little bit different because what it is based on is like I have an AI tool. I've got an AI tool for everything. So there's
Yeah.
like very few course trainings that you have to go through in my
Yeah.
program and more tools that you have to use.
Yeah.
Um, but what we do is we unpack your thought leadership on a specific topic. Maybe it's like one aspect of your model or one aspect of what you do. And then we create a second brain for AI on your thought leadership. I call it the Thought
Hmm.
Leadership Dossier. It's not
Yeah.
intended to be published. It's really like kind of crazy, this document,
Hmm.
but AI will help you unpack it. And then rather than content repurposing, which is what everyone does, oh, I
Yeah.
have this great LinkedIn post. How do I turn it into a Instagram reel,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Yeah.
barfing on different platforms the same way. Sorry,
Yeah.
not trying to, but so
Yeah.
rather than be repurposing, we want to have unique content throughout a whole month. So this thought leadership second brain serves as like the source file for your publishing system. And you create like so many different assets from it and good assets because it's all trained on your business, it's all trained on your avatar, it's all trained on your
Yeah.
IP, everything.
Brand
So that's like
voice, all that stuff.
everything. Yeah. So the content is actually really, really good. And it's not the stuff that you see out there. Whether you want to take it and turn it into a reel, totally fine.
Yeah.
But the goal is to publish things that are evergreen, but
Hmm.
also publish things that are monthly, like not monthly.
No, makes total sense. And I think, one thing I talked about John Schumacher on the previous episode, is, a lot of people, I would say non-coaches, just I almost call them knowledge merchants, just
Yeah.
people that have, traditionally sold information online. Because really, there's a huge market in that. You're selling access to information, whether it's an ebook, whether it's a course. The whole info space is kind of shifting.
Hmm.
And like I said earlier, I could go to ChatGPT and be like, "Hey, I want to be a fitness coach. Make me a framework for be a fitness coach." And I'm not qualified to be one, but I could create all this information that the LLMs are creating for me. They're not really creative. They're not coming from my
Hmm.
experience. They're not coming from my personality. I don't even have a brand voice. And I always kind of think, well, um, I want to make sure that any coach that builds stuff on FormWise, for example, or anywhere, that they're not essentially letting the LLM define who they are. You're
Yes, I love
taking
that you said
the
that.
existing humanity, to
Yeah.
just put it bluntly, of who you are, right?
Yeah.
And in a sense, you are enhancing what you already do. You're using AI to help you help more people at scale
Mhm.
through what
Yeah.
you already do. We want to give valuable stuff, right? Because that's the thing with Formats. Sometimes we have users that they probably bought prompts from somewhere and they just want to turn those prompts into tools and then make a quick buck.
Hmm.
Some people are successful in that because they have a big distribution list, but
Right.
fundamentally the users we've seen that have had the most success is the ones that take their existing IP, they
Hmm.
turn it into an AI asset, and then they embed that within their existing value ladder.
Yeah.
Now, as you said, and I agree with you, like the whole value ladder dynamic is changing in the coaching space, right? You used to have like a lead magnet, then a complicated funnel, and then opt them into your portal or your membership, and so on and so
Yeah.
on. The foundations don't change there. You still need a value ladder, but the value ladder itself is being AI-ified, right? So you have now you might give them a course companion AI tool, or now your course might be a recurring product because it comes with AI
Yeah.
inside the portal. So you don't have to sell it for one time. Now they get access to essentially in your AI demand system, Cindy's IP wrapped into a LLM to deliver it, not to let the LLM pretend to make stuff up, but to
No.
actually use your existing IP. And that's what you do for coaches.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I love that you just said that because I actually talked about this recently, like with regard to vibe coding.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
developers, people that are skilled developers,
Yeah.
what they're doing right now is so interesting. They're not like poo-pooing vibe coding. They're
Yeah.
actually vibe coding so that they could do 100 times more things than they did
Yep.
before. And then they
Exactly.
validate the things that work and toss the ones that don't, right? But a lot of people that are to your point, a lot of people that are coders, they don't have the intellectual property. They don't have their own frameworks. They're
Right.
just using LLMs to like, oh, how do I help someone lose 10 pounds? Create an app
Yep.
for me, right?
Yep.
And that's not very interesting. It's not like
Yeah.
unique. The
Yeah.
AI is just going to pull out whatever
Yeah.
it have at their disposal. Whereas, so I say like, yes, coders have an advantage because vibe coding stuff needs to be fixed. I don't know.
Mhm.
I've built probably 10 vibe coding apps and I don't, if it breaks, like I'm a
Yeah.
little bit SOL. Like I got to go hire someone that's like, can
Yeah.
you fix this?
Yeah.
Right. Um, so they don't, that's their advantage. But my advantage is that I can, like me and AI can make something that AI can't make on its own.
Correct. Correct.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, anybody can go to ChatGPT and be like, "Hey, research the best way to lose 10 pounds." It's probably going to go crawl some Reddit threads, and
Sure.
again, the
Yeah.
people that have optimized their content. But fundamentally, if you're a fitness coach, like an online fitness coach, and you've been in the gym with clients, you've helped hundreds of people lose weight, you have something that the AI
Yeah.
does not have.
Totally.
Again, it's your IP, it's your humanity. Um, and that I think the winners of and again, I say winners, I say the people that are going to be the most successful in this sort of paradigm shift are going to be the people that understand that fully. Because, like you said, I see a lot of that sort of poo-poo prompting and vibe
Mhm.
coding here and there, and nobody really wants to sign up for that. People know you made your ebook in
Yeah.
2 questions with ChatGPT, but if the LLM is trained on maybe your webinar or your voice, it just makes it all that more impressive.
Yeah.
Especially again, if it's paired to your value ladder, if it's paired with your course, it's paired with your coaching. We have some coaching clients who essentially, again, a co-pilot will never be able to replace the one-on-one coaching, but it's good to ask questions when the coach can't be there on a Zoom call for you. So it's like essentially it's a mini version of the coach, or it's a mini version of a part of the course that the coach is teaching.
Hmm.
And that is, I think, much more scalable than having it hop on over and over and over.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I
I'm gonna,
mean,
I want to almost like challenge that for a second because sometimes I think that it can do a better job if
really,
you give
really,
it like if you give it the permission to do things. I'll give you an example.
yeah,
This is one of the first things I built when with
mhm,
FormWise when you
yeah,
guys launched the Copilot, is it called Copilot, right? Not
yeah,
this,
yeah,
because you had smart forms first, and
yeah,
then you brought in
yeah,
the chat, like, yeah.
yeah.
So I brought an AI that I had in another tool, and I built it in FormWise, and it's. Are you familiar with the concept Ikigai?
I'm
Jap
not.
the, okay, so in Japanese
Yeah,
philosophy, it started as like a health thing, but now I think business owners have kind of taken it up. But
yeah,
in the concept of ikigai is that there's like four areas of your life, right? And one of
right.
the reasons why the Japanese have such a healthy, long lifespan is because
Yeah,
they optimize in various areas, whether that's like their mission, their vocation, their profession, and their passion,
mhm,
I think.
yeah,
So they kind of like look at everything holistically and then hone in on what they should be doing. And it kind of fuels everything. So EI is like this pretty cool concept. And historically, like I did an Ikigai workshop for myself years ago, before way before AI. And it was
yeah,
like this cognitive load exercise
yeah,
where I was like, oh man, I gotta like think about all this stuff and I have to be
yeah.
honest with myself and da 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 da. And when I work with clients that are exploring new opportunities for their business, one of the things I always encourage them to do is to find out what their ikigai is. It's
Oh,
a,
interesting.
and so yeah, so I built an AI tool to help people do that because that process was so cumbersome and such a cognitive load. And the way that the prompt was done, it's like I never would anticipate some of the questions in a coaching session that the AI sometimes brings.
Oh,
Or like the pattern recognition, like sometimes, like if you're just live in a coaching session with someone, I might not see those patterns because we're
yeah.
in the moment, right? But I trained the AI to pull out patterns of what someone's saying. So I've had experiences with clients who like wept because they go through the Ikigai process and it
Yeah.
opened their mind. And I'm like, well, that just did a way better job than I could have. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
actually, two things are. One, that's not the first time I've heard somebody say that they cried from a FormWise tool. Like we have a life coach that
Yeah.
built this really in-depth sort of life vision type of
Mhm.
tool, like
Yeah.
a smart form. Um, so I agree with you there. The other thing too, I love what you just said about the cognitive load. That was kind of the reasoning behind like the smart forms, because we have the co-pilots, which are like GPTs basically, back and
Yeah.
forth. And then we have the smart forms, which are, like a traditional form. Everybody, I think from every generation knows how to fill out a form. And it's very fundamental in the sense that it's essentially fill in the blank, fill in the blank.
Mhm.
And our thinking behind building that product was, well, it's a lot of people, yes, and when we built it, I guess the co-pilots and the conversational via the API wasn't as advanced as it is now.
Mhm.
But we found a lot of people liked smart forms because I can get my user or my end user, whoever it is, a student, a client, whatever, answer one question at a time. Like answer the question good. It's fill in the blank. And then it takes those fields and it maps them to your master prompt, which could be, like that brain that you're talking about. And then it
Mhm.
spits out a structured answer. And then they can chat with it, afterward. Um, that's a great way to put it. I had not ever. I'm probably going to steal that next time I do
Yeah.
like a demo. Smart forms are for reducing your end user's cognitive load. Like answer these questions and it generates a avatar or it
Totally.
generates something that perhaps would be really hard to get out.
Yeah. So I mean, even when I build a Copilot, I
Hmm.
will instruct in every single prompt that I do with a Copilot. I will always instruct the AI to only ask one question at a time.
That is a big tip, guys. Big.
Yeah.
user tip. I see it all the time. They have a
Yeah.
beautiful prompt, but then when I go use it, they ask me to go test it. It's asking me like five different questions, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm a little, I'm a little hesitant to use it then, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you gotta just like it's like softball, like ease into it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's something I always do. Well, cool. So we kind of segue, but that's digital gravity is kind of being that
Right.
omnipresent. So you're
Yeah.
the two things like the hygiene is kind of like the science and the gravity is kind of like the art, right?
Right.
So
Right.
those two things like they complement each other. They both
Yeah.
can live independently of each other, of course, but
Right.
you're going to go further faster. And then the third part is, how do you actually get someone fast, easy, and exciting results? And it's every expert, every subject matter expert, every consultant, every coach needs to think about creating digital assets.
Awesome.
Needs,
This is
yeah,
yeah, this whole thing is blowing my mind. And it's giving me ideas too on what we need to do to sort of be more prepared for this future.
yeah,
So I want to shift gears here. And I want just to, of course, this is a FormWise podcast. You
yeah.
use other platforms as well, like and I don't even know how to pronounce it, uh, Manus or Manus or
Manus?
whatever.
Yeah.
How has your experience been in selling AI assets using FormWise or vibe coded web apps with Manus? Have you? I know you've done that for yourself, and
Mhm.
you've had a lot of success there, and I want to hear about that. And I also want to hear if you've done that for other clients as well.
Yeah. The answer is yes. So a lot of stuff. So FormWise, I still use FormWise a lot.
Hmm.
I'll have, especially my existing curriculum that's tried and true.
Hmm.
I'm busy. I'm not there. I want to help someone go faster. So I'll create a FormWise tool and
Hmm.
put it underneath like a lesson in a
Yeah.
portal, or I'll have something that I pull out during a coaching call,
Hmm.
where I just like, here, go do this. Or the Ikigai is a great example.
Yeah.
Go take your Ikigai, come back when you're done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'll use like that because it's super fast, really easy. And then yeah, it was actually the directory aspect that I
Hmm.
was on YouTube, kind of going down the rabbit hole, learning
Hmm.
that directories are back in fashion. And I'm like, yes, hallelujah, I can do directories. Like,
So
okay,
good.
how do I hated building them back in
Yeah.
the day, like because
Yeah.
WordPress had plugins, but they were cumbersome and bleh. So I was like, I don't want to do that again. So anyway, I saw that people were vibe coding directories. I'm like, well, let me try and see if I could do that.
Mm.
Anyway, so I use Manus.
Yeah.
I consider Manus to be like legitimately my business partner. It's like my 2026 business tripled because I'm able to use Manus. Like what
Wow.
it's done for me in terms of speed, execution, and delivery is like unparalleled. It's just,
Hmm.
I'm such a fangirl of Manus. Now that Meta took it over, I'm a little bit like, don't break it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Please,
know.
please don't ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Manus historically has just helped me with doing a lot of delivery for clients and their programs. So um, I'll update someone's program in the agency, and I'll actually use Manus to recreate their scripts, modernize the scripts,
Yeah.
build the tools directly off of Manus. Like I can say, Manus, okay, here's the new curriculum. I need a corresponding tool to go along with it.
Yeah.
I can connect it to HeyGen and 11 Labs and actually build their AI avatar from it. So it's like the
Wow.
whole thing can be like it's a whole ecosystem of support.
Right. Right. Right.
And then they introduced vibe coding
Yeah.
into Manus, I'd say like 3 months ago. And I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty awesome story.
Yeah.
The first time I played around with Manus was after I met a future client at a networking event. And I want to inspire people that like use vibe coding to get clients and good ones. So I met this person at a networking event. They found out that I work in doing things with AI, and the guy just like dumps all of his problems on me, like all of his business related problems. Like, oh, I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with this.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with this. Can AI help me do that? And I was like, yeah, probably. So we just had this like casual conversation, exchanged numbers, said we're going to meet up in a couple weeks. A couple weeks came, and he's like, let's hook up, come to my office. And so it was before that, and I decided, okay, well, like I remember this conversation. So I went to Manus, and I didn't know anything about his industry for the most part. So I went and initiated some deep research. And this is my vibe coding process. So this is like how I get a
Hmm.
little bit of an upper hand on vibe coding is like I'll have the AI do deep research on whatever topic, even if I'm the expert. I want to understand the
More. Yeah.
landscape better. Yeah. Um, and so Manus came back with some really good information that I didn't know, especially like statistics
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh, okay, cool. So can we like create a tool that actually overcomes this problem? And Manus just got to work, and within 20, 30 minutes, I had this tool. And I was like, wow, this looks amazing. Like it was to my brand. I gave it my brand guidelines. It did such a good job. And I was like, so like, I was just amazed. Anyway, I went and showed this client or future client. I was like, here, I made this for you. This was like our first exploratory meeting. We
Yeah.
didn't have any deal or anything like that. Anyway, the guy is in real estate and he proposed at the end of the call to hire me immediately and also give me a percentage of sales if I,
Oh,
percentage of his
wow.
sales commission, I should say,
Yeah.
if I helped increase his visibility and help his listings
Yeah.
improve as a result of AI. And he's a $50 million a year company. So I was like,
What an
okay.
opportunity. What an
Yeah. So
opportunity. Wow.
like, and I saw someone else do this on YouTube. They mentioned like use this stuff to create solutions for potential clients to land big deals. Because I guarantee you 99% of business owners are not thinking in this way. And then when they see like a well put together solution as a first step of working together, it's
Yeah.
the deal's done. They're gonna work with you.
Yeah.
Like as long as you are a legitimate expert and you can follow through,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
But like there was no question. He's just like, "Oh, you're hired."
That is, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What a opportunity that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, it's got my gears going. I know it's got the people
Yeah.
listening,
So I can show you the digital hygiene app if you want me to
sure,
show it
sure,
to you. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, 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 of course. You should be able
Um,
to share a screen.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to see what you got.
So this is just, and this is not done. So it's not, I'll show you, it's not published, but
Yeah.
this is built in Manus.
Hmm.
Um, and this is like the interface of Manus. And you just, I mean, this chat is like extraordinarily long, so I won't go, but it goes back and forth. Again,
Yeah.
I feed it very specific. I have like a JSON file, JSON
Yeah.
file of
Hmm.
my brand guidelines, and I give it
Hmm.
to Manus every single time I want it to build something, and it makes it perfectly to my brand. So every single asset that I build, whether it's my program assets or I even make things for my clients, they're all in my brand because
Yeah.
they're my tools, right? So start your AEO journey. I got still it's in the Manus ecosystem here.
Yeah.
Um, but and this is something like this is not a 30-minute project. So,
Yeah.
anything can be small or big. This is a pretty robust,
Yeah.
complete system. So this is a conversation that I've been having with Manus for at least 2 months. And we're almost to the finish line of actually like getting it to for use for my clients.
In this
Right now
build,
I'm using,
yeah,
oh,
and for the people listening, this used to cost. I don't even want to imagine. I mean, we
yeah,
spent so much money on developers, but like how much
yeah,
this would have cost just two
yeah.
years ago.
So in my program, it's called Collective Wisdom. You can access the AI demand engine, and I'll walk you like so. It's a
Yeah,
hybrid. It's not just a SaaS tool. It's not
right.
just go plug it in. Like you
Yeah,
need to learn the strategy behind it, and I'm there to coach you. So it's a hybrid
yeah.
coaching, hybrid tool solution. And essentially, this takes all the heavy lifting of your hygiene and getting recommended by AI off of your plate. So you start by uploading what I call source of truth, which I help you do in the foundational aspect. That's like we just need to have consistency and be thorough in
Yeah.
our business assets, right?
Hmm.
So, source of truth, also your points of view, like
Yeah,
everything about you is going to be uploaded here.
yeah,
There's going to be a handful of questions that the AI is going to ask you based on that. And then what it's going to do is it's going to generate um, a database of
hmm,
because you're also uploading, I forgot to add, you're also uploading your avatar emotional profile. So
hmm,
one of the very first FormWise tools I ever built was an avatar emotional profile, which is like this
mm,
comprehensive 20-page document
hmm.
that actually increased my clients' sales by like 15% overnight as soon as they implemented it. So I was
Wow.
like, oh, I'm building a tool out of this, right? Because I was able to get that kind of
Yeah,
result. So
yeah,
we have your avatar emotional profile that goes into the back end. So the AI is trained on very specific stuff. And then it's going to generate, it's going to anticipate. And this has been one of the hardest things to prompt and get good results at. So this is where I've been spending a lot of time is fine tuning the prompt here to get real queries. Like
Hmm.
really, what are the things that people are asking? Because it's so like there's so much context and
Yeah.
individual context per user.
Right.
Um, and you want it to be semantic, right? So
Right.
you want it to be like in their language. So this has been hard, but we're
Hmm.
cracking the code. So you're going to get a database of questions,
Right.
right? These are the things that that people are asking AI, and then you can select, okay, I like this one, I don't like this one. So you can self-select which ones to proceed with and which ones not
Right.
to. And then you can hit generate and it'll actually generate
The
those
article.
posts, right, in the
Wow.
formatted way that you want it to do. And then I'm going to remove the content strategy from this because that's going to be in the Gravity app, which is also built. But then it generates all the schema for you, and it also will give you your off-page strategy. So off-page meaning, okay, here are the Reddit forums, here are the directories in your industry, here are all the places where you should be visible. And then
Wow.
you can just like use this when you need it.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh. So
vibe
you
code.
built a whole app around your methodology, basically.
Yeah, two different ones, two different
And
apps.
and silly question. This is part of your AI demand system?
Yep.
This process? Wow.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is blowing me away. And how would you, another might be dumb question, how does this compare to something like Lovable? And I think there's another one out there, base 24.
There's Replit. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't know the answer to that question. I used Lovable early on
Yeah,
when I was very green in how I was talking to AI with
right.
regards to vibe coding. And so I didn't do a very good job. So I think it was user error versus um, the AI, but also and I can show you another one too if you want to see it. Um, Also, at that point, I don't think the AI was there
Yeah,
when I was using Lovable. Like
yeah.
now, like Manus will go and just create, and I think Lovable will do the same thing. Like Manus will just go create the backend. Manus will just connect it to my Stripe. Manus will just do everything. Like it does
You just need to
everything.
give it access the authentication tokens and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I
Wow.
was using Lovable, it was like trying to get me to get some database thing. And I'm like, this is over my head. So I kind of gave up on Lovable and didn't vibe code in the early days because it seemed hard. And
Yeah,
then once Manus opened up, I was like, oh, well, Manus will do it for me. So I'll just use Manus. So they're probably all comparable. And I've seen some YouTube where people are actually singing the praises of like Gemini's vibe coding. I played around
mhm.
with it for a day, but since I'm so comfortable with Manus, this is
Yeah,
my
yeah,
baby.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing, people need to pick obviously the platforms that are going to stand the test of time, but overall, AI is only, I mean, Sean, our CEO says
Mhm.
this is the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
It's I can only imagine in 5 years. And of course, context is key here, guys. Same thing when you're building a FormWise tool. You need to kind of essentially, and again, this is where the humanity comes back, your experience. You need to
hmm
know what to ask. Cindy is able to build this because Cindy has the experience of helping her clients through her methodology. She knows exactly what to build. You can't just go into a vibe coding platform and be like, build me, build me something that will be valuable to my
Yeah.
avatar. Boom. And expect that the tools fundament. I mean, because the rules of the game have not changed. You still have to be valuable.
Yeah.
Like what you create still has to solve a problem. It has to solve the product market fit. It has to speak to, their emotional pain points, and it has to
hmm
be valuable fundamentally. It can't just like the days of back even before AI, there used to be all sorts of generators where you would fill out a form and it spit something out. Like those days are kind of over. It has to be contextual and niched. And again, if you're in the coaching space and you have a tool that is going to deliver that result, you want to use something like the AI demand system. Go through her program to be discoverable
Yeah.
fundamentally.
Yeah. No, and to your point, like the digital gravity side, like is based off of what I call the pillar content formula.
Mhm.
And interestingly enough, like back in 2015, I had a private client and we grew her. we grew her online membership from 0 to like 1,200 members. And we did it all organically
Yeah.
through a blogging system. But she had tons of resources. We had a content team. We had a
Yeah.
blog writer. We had an email copywriter. We had
Yeah.
a programmer. We had all sorts of resources at our fingertips to do this strategy, but it worked so well. And I was like, I always kind of like had this like, oh God, it's too bad that the pillar content formula that we strategized, that was this like omnipresent process of growing your business just can't work for the average online business owner because they don't have the same amount of resources. Well, when AI came, I was like, huh, I wonder if the pillar content formula would work again. And so that's what this is like something that
Yeah.
was tried and true back in 2015. And now I'm using AI to be all those different people. And we can like one person can execute this in a couple of hours or like 1 or 2 days a month.
Yes. And I see the two sort of similarities between this app that you're showing me here and the
Yep.
one you just showed me. They're
Yep.
both guiding people one step at a time back to our
Yep.
cognitive load.
Yep.
It's very reductionist to think that a open-ended chat is going to essentially all you need is an open-ended chat in your app or your coaching program or your membership. These tools have to be contextual. They have to lead them through your framework
Hmm.
to get the outcome that you want them to achieve. And I see
Yeah.
you've done that here. I've
Yeah.
not seen how the app works, but I saw something about a guided interview, I think. Yeah, guided
Yeah.
interview process.
In the last
That's
one, there's an interview in this one as well.
yeah.
It's very brief, but I'll just show you this one. So this is the gravity tool, and then it saves all your sessions. So I'm going to go into one that I already did, and view generated content. So here's like this dossier I was talking about. So it'll add, like you'll upload your source of truth, you'll upload your points of view, you'll upload your avatar emotional profile, all things that I help you build through
Mhm.
tools already, but you'll have all this like same data, right? So this is a brain. You're going to give your second brain to this new brain. And it's going to unpack your thought leadership on a specific topic. And it's going to ask you questions. And the interview is actually really good. It's not just formulaic. It
Yeah.
actually like follows its nose to get
Yeah.
deeper into your thought leadership on something. So then it generates this dossier, and the dossier again is not meant for public consumption. This is a brain that you're going to then use in the AI. So
Right.
it'll have an executive summary, your positioning in your profile, your intellectual property, key principles, your contrarian beliefs, audience deep dive, strategic positioning, core, I mean, it goes on and on and
Oh
on. So core
man.
messaging architecture, objection handling and belief shifts, strategic insights and opportunities. So it gives you other angles to pursue so that your content doesn't get stale. Your subtopics. So you can just like use this one core piece and like really have like an arsenal of unique interesting content from it. And then from once you're happy with it and you can edit it, right? So up here, you can go up here to the top and you can like fine tune it. So if something's incorrect, you can change it, you can download it. But then from there, you can go and have it generate an a answer engine optimized or GEO optimized blog post.
Hmm.
It'll generate YouTube scripts for you. It'll generate, I have it to generate a GBT. So every piece of thought leadership comes with a GBT tool.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
someone can go put this into FormWise and have something right
Yeah.
away to go, and
Yep.
they're really good. Manus is really, really good at instructions for your tools. I will say that. Way better than ChatGPT. Way better.
Mm.
Um, Emails. So, and it'll give you funnel copy and all your social
Social.
posts.
Wow,
Yeah.
I want to use this tool. I mean, this is awesome. This is such a great tool, Cindy.
Thanks.
And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to share this with our community. Of course, guys, you guys will have links to Cindy's information in the blog post. If you're reading this in the blog post or in the email or on where this is also going to go on YouTube. All of this will be in the description of this video. Um, yeah, we live in such an exciting time, Cindy. I know you have to go here in just a
Yeah.
minute. I really appreciate you sharing all this with me. I mean, I've learned so much. I'm like blown away. I'm like every time I get excited, I start playing with my hands. I'm like, gosh, like I need a get a big giant whiteboard and start just testing ideas. It reminds me of a venture capital firm in Silicon Valley. Forgot the name of the firm, but their whole thesis is they're not going to invest in startups anymore. They're going to
Mm.
have a in-house sort of um what is it called? It's like a they're building the companies themselves, and they're launching 100 startups every
Oh,
single
wow.
year
Well,
because
if you guys want to take a little sabbatical or a little work trip, I'm just opening up a co-working space here. This is my co-working space. So I do workshops. I think my webcam is breaking because it's all blurry,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
well,
this is what the space is for. It's to like get inspired and to help other people get inspired as well.
if it's open by the time this episode comes out, give me a
Yep.
link to that. I'd love to share that with
Okay.
people too. One more favor I want to ask you is I want you to go get some sun for me because it's freezing in Georgia
Yeah.
right now. We're about to get an inch of ice. So I'm
Oh,
really jealous of your background because that's a real background. I see that it's
it's real.
sunny and
It's blurry. I'm
green.
sorry that it's blurry,
Yeah.
but
It is so
um,
beautiful. It looks so
yeah.
beautiful, just even blurry. I'm looking outside right now at our window and there's like no leaves. But so I'm very jealous about that. But Cindy, I really appreciate you giving us some of
Yeah.
your time. I can't wait to put this episode out there.
Yeah. Cool. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for having me.
yeah. And how can people learn more about you?
Oh, just you can go to perfectlittlebusiness.com.
Hmm.
Um, and there is currently a AI roadmap tool. I'm
Hmm.
going to be updating it here soon,
Hmm.
but you'll get a sense that's definitely inspired by FormWise. It's a personalized
Hmm.
AI like diagnostic. You
Hmm.
can take that and kind of see a little bit behind the curtain there. But
Hmm.
yeah, you can engage with me on my website, send me an email. You can try and find me on Instagram. I'm not very good about consistency, but
No worries.
yeah.
Yeah.
So website's my Grand Central Station.
Yeah. You're definitely focusing on your strengths, and I can see that. Well,
Yeah.
Cindy, thank you so much for coming on the episode.
Yeah.
Um, and again, you're welcome to come on anytime. Maybe
Sounds
we can do
good.
another episode in a few months. You probably will have
Sure.
another app by then.
Okay.
So again, thank you so much
All right.
for
Take
jumping
care.
on. Thank you,
Thank
Cindy.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.